Academic success is a sure short path to a great career. Many assume this to be true. Well, I think otherwise. My today's guest, Mr. Parag Modak, who claims that he was an average student in college, today he is the vice president at Moody's Corporation. Welcome to the Learning Club, Parag.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for inviting me. And it's right, it's not. I'm not just claiming it. I was an average student, so I was not a topper.
Right.
Not to be remembered for either good or bad reasons.
Yes.
Right? And let me be very specific on the bad reasons, right?
Right.
So सही नहीं गलत भी नहीं, right?
Yes.
Very average, very silent, very shy student. But proof of that actually is I met with ex-principal of VIT, right? And in my time, he was the principal, Mr. Heman Abhyankar.
Yeah,
sir,
Professor
right?
Abhyankar.
Sir. So I happened to meet him like 10 years after my graduation.
Okay.
His daughter is staying in the same building. But then I had to remind him that I was like 95 to 99 batch and electronics engineer guy and all that.
Yeah, generally the principal would remember the topper or maybe
exactly.
the exact opposite of it.
The opposite of it, right? For the bad reasons.
Yes.
So that was it.
You are an electronics engineer by qualification.
Right.
And then you moved on to software.
Right.
Very interesting journey. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so you're right. I passed out as an electronics engineer in 1999.
Right.
But didn't get a placement also. I did try.
Okay.
I did not try it, but
Could not get through.
And then I passed out, and then 6 months I was at home. I was chilling out, going to the movies, spending time with friends.
चांगले दिवस म्हणाले.
Yeah, चांगले दिवस. Yeah, right, absolutely. And that was fun. And one fine day, and my father, he was in NCL at that time, and he was assistant director. One fine day he comes to me and says, "Beta, abhi na kal se tumko pocket money nahi milega."
अच्छा.
Right? So you better be earning, otherwise get lost. So and that I think kicked something, right? कि अभी तो कुछ करना ही पड़ेगा.
अब तो job ढूंढना पड़ेगा.
अब तो कुछ तो करना ही पड़ेगा. But meanwhile I was doing C++ programming, and I had become fond of that. Actually, I did a lot of practice. खाली टाइम था.
बराबर.
सारा दिन बाहर नहीं घूम सकते थे, right? तो वो टाइम पे फिर I like daily 3 to 4 hours I used to do the C++ programming. That helped me a lot in finding a job in electronica. My first salary was 6,000 rupees. Can you imagine that? बाइक पे घूमो, गर्लफ्रेंड को घुमाओ और बस खाना खाओ और घर पहुंच जाओ.
Parag, from being the executive engineer at Electronica to today being the vice president at Moody's International.
Yeah.
Tell us about your journey.
I joined as trainee engineer and then moved out as an executive engineer. I joined Tech Mahindra in 2008.
That was the next assignment.
That was the next company
job,
which I joined. And I joined as a technical lead over there. So managing entire team and then...
So this was global then.
Yeah, this was global experience. So I worked with people in Dubai, in Oman, in US, in Australia. Right?
Okay.
Give me a good exposure.
Yes.
And I would call it a paradigm change also. In terms of my experience from being moving from a very small company to a very big organization, and then getting the global exposure
of clients.
So that, exactly. So that I think was a turning point.
Yes.
In my career.
Yes.
In 2011, however, I joined Capgemini, which was again
another MNC.
Another first MNC which I joined. Tech Mahindra is anyway, it's an Indian
It's a global
company.
Right?
Capgemini gave me a lot of flexibility around working with various roles.
Right.
Right from technical lead to the technical project manager, business analyst, technical architect, and that's all around in BI space. And then I become a program manager. I was managing almost 4 accounts with a $40 million business for the organization. For 3 years I was managing that.
Okay.
And then I moved to the other side of the coin, which means I was doing the project delivery and moved to sales. I was managing the entire pre-sales organization for the data practice in Capgemini.
Okay.
I became a director at Capgemini in 2016. So I got 3 promotions there in Cap. In 2019, I left Capgemini. I joined a smaller firm called Sama Technologies.
Oh,
but
that's
it was a
interesting.
very niche firm.
Okay.
They are in life sciences domain. Again,
That's
a
also
separate domain
niche,
than
yeah.
financials.
That's also niche, yeah.
So Sama gave me extremely good experience around the product. And in 2021, I got an opportunity to work at Moody's.
Wow.
So
That's another domain.
That's another domain, the same domain, probably financial services, but another flavor of it.
Yes.
Why I say different flavors, right? My experience has been, I think, diversified experience. That's I would like to call it. I joined in a manufacturing firm,
Yes.
then moved to a Indian IT company,
Yes.
then moved to a
Global
MNC, right,
MNC,
which is a
yes.
French company headquartered in Paris. Then I moved to again a US-based company run by an Indian,
Right.
which is Sama Technologies.
Yes.
Then I moved to an American MNC.
Yes.
Then from manufacturing to services to products to captive.
Right.
That has been the journey.
That has been the journey. Wow. At Moody's, you are involved in environmental social governance, ESG, right?
Yes.
I am hearing this for the first time, this concept or this term ESG. काय असतं हे? What is this?
ESG basically full form is environment, social and governance.
Okay.
हे तीन त्याच्यात मेन pillars आहेत ESG चे.
Right.
Environment means everything which we see in the surrounding. Right?
Yes.
It's about your air quality. It's about your pollution.
Right.
It's about global warming.
Right.
It's about parameters like carbon footprint, carbon emissions.
Right.
You might have heard about the terminologies net zero emission, right?
Yes.
Which is recently, last 5 years, since the Paris Treaty happened in 2016, more than now 25 to 30 countries have come together.
आणि मला वाटतं आता India has also signed up
India
very
has also
recently
signed
in
up,
the
yeah.
COP. Yes.
So in the 2021 COP,
Yes.
which happened at Glasgow.
Yes.
Now there is another angle which is coming, and this is more coming from the investor world, right? Those people or those banks who invest in corporates.
Right.
That along with the financial regulations, now you have to look at the ESG regulations as well.
Absolutely, because they have an impact on business.
They have an impact on business. Exactly. Environmental मध्ये, let's say it's about asset valuation. It's about your company's location. If your company's location is, let's say in Japan, right?
Yes.
It's more earthquake and
Volcano prone. Yes.
The risk for the investors is bigger.
Because the company is at risk.
Right. That's how they analyze.
Tell us about the importance of these ESG guidelines or these ESG norms for a country like India.
In 2021, in COP, right, which happened in Glasgow, India had become part of that.
Yes.
Since then, this ESG initiative is getting stronger in India.
Right.
There is a framework called BRSR,
Okay.
that is being implemented, which states that basically all the SEBI listed companies, they will have to submit the ESG regulations to the regulatory bodies.
Right.
And which makes sense also because India is targeting net zero emission by 2070 as a part of that 2021 COP meeting. So Indian government is taking steps through that actually.
You were bitten by the startup bug also somewhere in your life and didn't go through it. Tell us about it.
Yes. It takes a lot of courage, Bharat sir, actually to do a startup.
बरोबर.
किशोर कुमार का गाना है, right? आज पहली तारीख है.
बराबर. Yes.
खुश है ज़माना आज पहली तारीख है. So you have to get that bug out first.
To let the startup bug in.
To let the startup bug in.
Yes.
And most of the people don't get that courage to get that bug out. वो नहीं कर पाते.
वो courage नहीं आता है because dependables भी रहते हैं सर.
Dependables भी रहते हैं. Exactly. And इतना आदत हो चुका है ना कि 31st को आएगा मैसेज आएगा then मैं खुश हूँ एक महीने के लिए, right? Then I'm doing my job and I don't have any doubts on my capabilities, my technical capabilities, but I admit that I didn't have that courage to go through the startup process. I had the partnership offers, I had someone offered me a CTO role, but in the end I didn't have that courage, and I can frankly admit that there is no offense in admitting that.
Of course not. And we see you are right now at Moody's at a top leadership role, so not a bad decision at all.
Yeah.
Let's come to our favorite place, VIT Pune.
Yeah.
Tell us, share some memories with us.
Yes, of course. I think one thing which I would like to tell you is I took admission in VIT because it was considered as a top college for electronics at that time. So I had a liking for electronics and software, so natural first choice was VIT. So I took admission there. We had some great professors. To name a few, Professor Umrani sir, he was HOD at that time, and ते आमचे प्रोजेक्ट गाईड पण होते
अच्छा.
सो हिज डिसिप्लिन हिज एबिलिटी एव्हरी प्रोफेसर वॉज अ एक्सपर्ट इन हिज सब्जेक्ट.
In his subject.
Then we had Ernavikar sir and Mahajan
Yes,
sir as well, right?
yes.
These were the pillars of electronics.
Absolutely, we
department,
remember
actually.
them. Yes.
Then we had Professor Ajay Bakshi, and
Acha.
he was teaching us in third year.
Okay.
So he used to remember every student's roll number by voice.
क्या बात कर रहे हो?
So you cannot give a proxy. His style was ना ऐसा पेपर लेते थे हाथ में, a pen, just call roll number 1, 2, 3, 4, it goes on. If someone gives a proxy, without even looking at him, he would tell कि okay, you are not this guy, you are not Parag Modak.
Wow.
बोलते थे कि अच्छा बताओ किसने दिया proxy.
अच्छा.
I know everyone's voice.
अच्छा.
मेरे को पता है किसने दिया.
Wow. Wow.
Better you tell me, or I'll tell you.
Or I'll find out.
But in a nutshell, right? वो professors का discipline, उनका subject matter expertise,
Right.
that actually dwelled so naturally in
Yes,
my next
yes,
journey.
yes.
But discipline आया तो उधर से आया.
So true.
Obviously.
So true.
Then we had Professor Rajendra Joshi. He's a good tabla player also.
Okay.
We have never met him after that, but he was fantastic, phenomenal.
Your colleagues, your friends?
Oh yeah, we had some great students, and one of probably I would like to talk about is Mahesh Kale.
अरे celebrity alumni.
हाँ, it's a celebrity, right? He's a celebrity now. But Mahesh Kale, fantastic guy. I mean, from a student age also. म्हणजे आम्ही तर कित्येक वेळेला वी यूज टू स्पेंड टाइम इन कॅन्टीन. माय फेवरेट फूड इज वडापाव आणि थम्सअप घेऊन आम्ही वी यूज टू जस्ट स्टे देअर. अँड शेट्टी अण्णा वॉज देअर. शेट्टी अण्णा वॉज द कॅन्टीन मॅनेजर.
Yes.
तो आई स्टिल रिमेंबर अ थिन गाय विथ अ मुस्टैच एंड कर्ली हेयर. तो बोला आ जाओ सर बैठ जाओ. बट महेश काले का एक एबिलिटी जो है ना, आई टेल यू, सो डेडिकेटेड. आई लर्न डेडिकेशन फ्रॉम हिम. फॅन्टास्टिक गाय. अगेन टू टॉक अबाउट हिम.
आणि तुम्ही बंद केले क्लासेस तर त्याची मास बंद पण केला असेल.
एकदाच.
अच्छा.
सो फर्स्ट इयरला आय मीन फर्स्ट इयरला ऑल द सगळे ब्रँचेसचे
कॉमन असतात
ते राईट. सो वी डिसाइडेड टू बंक.
अच्छा.
अँड देन वी I think we went to Panshet on bikes.
Okay.
In the morning. On bike came back, went to Lakshminarayan Theatre, took a matinee show.
Movie.
Yeah. Watched a movie, and I think that movie was Tere Mere Sapne.
Acha, you still remember?
Arshad Varsh's first movie.
Okay.
Right? And तो उसके बाद 3 बजे 4 बजे हम घर पहुंच गए. मूवी देखा, ट्रिप हुआ, सब हुआ. Right? What happened next day is a story. Is a real story actually. Next day जो क्लास लगी है सबकी, you know, तो आमची हिम्मत नाही झाली परत करायची. कारण VIT is a great place. So what I learned in VIT actually the precious things of my life.
Tell us about people or incidents that have influenced your life.
I can start from my father. I learned discipline from him. I learned how to face life in your downtime. He had fought a 25-year-old battle for his own house. He had to. Okay. So the courage, again the persistence to achieve something. Right? That are the key points that I've learned from my father. Then of course my professors, I told you, right? Professor Umrani sir was one of the other inspirational figure. Right. I still remember his teachings. Then of course in the corporate life you need support from your bosses as well. I was fortunate enough to get support. Fortunate enough to get good bosses, good managers throughout my career. One important figure is Zive Jiang. He was my research and data practice head. He was my boss. He supported me very well. He probably recognized some spark in me, or I don't know. I wouldn't call it spark, but something in me. Then he promoted me. I was taking care of entire pre-sales function at that time for financial services. Every global proposal used to route it through me.
Right.
And then it gave me a sense of responsibility. It gave me a sense of accountability. It gave me a sense of how you should become a leader. Right. How should you manage your stakeholders? So a lot of things to learn from him. So
nice.
Yeah, those are the few people have inspired me in my life.
You have managed teams all along. What makes a good manager?
I was fortunate enough to manage global teams. I think the most important thing that you need to learn about is their culture.
Yes.
How do they speak? How do they communicate? How do they talk about their work? you should respect their culture, then they will respect your culture as well.
Of course.
So that's one of the important things that you need to remember. Secondly, the assertiveness.
Very important.
Yeah, very important. How to deliver a bad news effectively.
Yes.
That you need to learn when you work with global teams and when you work especially as a people manager.
Right.
It's a key to success basically. And thirdly, the people. You have to respect your team. You have
Yes.
to respect your managers.
So true.
You learn to respect people, and then people will respect you.
Right.
People will support you, because
Yes.
without your team, without people, you are useless. You need to become a leader who can run with the team.
Perfect.
And I think people is my energy. I cannot stay away from people,
True.
especially in corporate life. So I think that's real. If you are asking me about 3 things that how I would put
So well said. During the Electronica days, you said you had a girlfriend who you used to roam with on your bike. What happened further on that?
it. So Bharat is now my wife. I know my wife, or my Tanuja, for the last 25 plus years. And we have been childhood friends. And she is an artist, right? She is not at all. I mean, I am a left
Technical
brain, she's a
person,
right
yeah.
brain. So totally opposite. Totally opposite of each other. And that helps a lot. We have a 13-year-old daughter.
Okay.
She's in 9th standard. Her name is Ria.
Okay.
She's a lovely child. And as every girl is very precious, very close to her dad's heart.
I'm sure.
And you have...
I have 2
you a
daughters.
daughter?
I have 2
You
daughters.
So you know it then.
Yes. Yes. What do you do in your free time?
There are few things. Listen to good music. Then I love reading also. I
Okay.
read a lot of books. I have a small library also. I used to do a lot of treks, but recent times, 4 or 5 years, I have kind of skipped. But now I want to start again.
Right.
But importantly, if I feel like I need a break, I take it.
Okay,
I
that's so nice.
I just I can go with my backpack. I can just take car out.
And go anyway.
Go in solace, go in solitude somewhere. Maybe nearby place. I don't have to go to Himalayas for that, but nearby place you have a good quiet evening, a good book or good music in the evening. To stay there for 1 or 2 days and come back. So I think that gives me a hard reset on my head, because sometimes you need that.
Absolutely.
You need that break. You need that momentum to stop and then slow down yourself somewhere in your head, because constantly something is going on.
Absolutely. You have a small library at home. Recommend a few books for us.
Sure, Bharat. I have English and Marathi, all kinds of books. आणि मराठीमध्ये आय विल स्पीक इन मराठी. मराठीमध्ये पु ल देशपांडे इज माय फेवरेट रायटर. म्हणजे पुलंच्या इतका चांगला ऑब्झर्वर
राईट
नसेल कोणी. कारण सिन्स आय एम अ पीपल्स मॅनेजर. आय लव्ह पीपल इज माय एनर्जी, एज आय टोल्ड यू अर्लियर. पण पुलंच्या व्यक्ती आणि वल्ली जे पुस्तक किंवा असा मी आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये इट्स ऑल अबाउट पीपल, हाऊ दे इन्फ्लुएन्स इच अदर. व्यक्ती आणि वल्लीमध्ये एस्पेशली प्रत्येक व्यक्तिरेखेचे जे ट्रेट्स आहेत, स्वभावाचे विशेष आहेत. किती टाईपची माणसं असू शकतात जगामध्ये. दॅट्स अ गुड एक्झाम्पल. त्याच्यानंतर मी बिल गेट्सचं आय हॅव रेड द रोड अहेड,
राईट,
which is actually Bill Gates' journey of starting Microsoft, and co-authored by a few Microsoft senior members as well. So I think that's a very good book. And one more I would like to recommend, if you really want to become a leader, you should read the book The Dhoni Touch. Again, I'm a big fan of MSD. I mean, the way he inserted that habit into Indian team of winning the games.
Absolutely.
That is important.
Absolutely.
And still he's on the ground.
Yes, very humble.
He's very humble. And one interesting fact Harsha Bhogle told about him is one of the interviews which I read on Facebook. He doesn't carry a mobile phone. So he said you can meet Dhoni. I mean, his room is open. So you can actually knock on the room and you can meet him. But you can't get in touch with him. Because he doesn't carry a mobile phone. I was surprised.
Absolutely.
That's a different level altogether.
So true.
Wonderful guy.
So true. So
I mean, it's a true inspiration actually.
Actually, for all of us.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Parag. Like Dhoni, you are also an inspiration to all our students, to all our alumni, for all our colleagues. Your grit, your determination is something that we would all learn from. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Bharat. Thanks for giving me opportunity today, and it was a great pleasure to share my journey, my experiences with all of you. It was almost went like a movie, you know, walking down the memory lane right from 1995 till today. It was pleasure meeting you. You know, pleasure
Thank you.
sharing my experiences.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Bharat.
very much.
Thank you, Bharat.